All right, so this is the Cal State Fullerton warm-up routine. So we will be doing this mini band activation sequence and also rope stretching routine before we take off for every run and workout. Before we start our mini band activations, we're going to go ahead and do active isolation stretching. This is also known as rope stretching. Before we use the ropes, we're going to go ahead and do some knee pulls to help stretch out a little bit. On all these exercises, you want to see the leg that is currently not being stretched. It's dorsiflexed, it's anchored in the ground, it's not twisting. On all of these, as you're bringing either your leg or the rope up, you're only stretching at the last minute. So you can see he's bringing it up, grabbing the knee and just doing a quick little tug and a release. It's just a short, little, gentle stretch. After you've done the knee pulls, we start to pull across our body. You might get a little bit of a roll action. That's okay. You can see his leg is still dorsiflexed. He's not rotating the foot. He's just mostly rolling his hips around. Once you've done that both sides, we're going to go ahead and do our quadricep stretch. You can see that his back and his hips, once stretched on the stretching leg, are pretty aligned and straight. That's what we're looking for. The dead leg, the one that's not being stretched, it can be in this position at 90 degrees or a little bit more relaxed, as long as it's not making you have too much of an arched back. And again, he's just gently pulling it, and once he feels a tiny bit of a stretch, he does a little bit of a tug. That's all he's doing. Lastly, we're doing the hamstring stretch. He's bringing his leg up to the point where he feels a light stretch, and then he braces the leg with his hands, and all he's doing is straightening his leg until he feels a gentle stretch and then releasing. Again, he's bringing the leg up. He feels a gentle stretch right there. That's his stopping point. He relaxes. Now that we've completed the pre-rope stretch active isolation routine, we're going to move on to using an actual rope. If you don't have a rope like this, I'll provide it for you once you get here on campus. The first thing we're going to do is just do a similar thing that we just did with the non-rope assisted stretch for the hamstring. Again, he's hooking the rope around the ball of his foot or right underneath it, and he's raising his leg up gently and then just tugging at the last moment. Many of you won't be this flexible to start, but it's important that we bring the hamstring up and only tug at the very last moment with the rope. Once you've done it this way, you're going to go ahead and wrap the rope on the inside of the ankle, coming out on the outside. And again, you're raising the leg off the ground and moving it out as far as it can go. And then once you feel a gentle stretch in your hips, you pull it at the last second. And he's doing a great job at anchoring that kind of non-stretched leg. He's going to do this other side. It goes in and then out. He's holding on to the rope, but he's not using it until the very last minute. He feels a gentle stretch and then a tug. And then he's going to go ahead, and once you've done in and out, you'll go ahead and go wrapping it on the outside onto the inside. You'll get a little bit of a rollover right here, but he's doing a great job at making sure that his heel and his foot is anchored and dorsiflexed, so there's not too much rotation. This is a difficult stretch to perfect at first, but as you get more used to it, you'll definitely get a lot more flexible. Okay, last but not least is the calf pump. So he's back to wrapping it around the ball of his foot or right above the midfoot, and all he's doing is bringing his toes up as far as they can go without the use of the rope, and then he just gives it a gentle tug at the end. You should feel it ever so slightly in your calf. To start, you're going to see our demonstrator do 5 mini squats with the band above the knees. It's important as you squat, you don't have to go as deep, but as you squat, you make sure you rip the bands apart, right? You pull them away from your knees. That's how you engage your glutes and also your hip flexors. Once he's done 5, he's going to go ahead with the band still above his knees, and he'll go ahead and do fire hydrants. So again, he's making sure that he's not really rotating his torso. He's focusing on only isolating that hip flexor and glute. So only 5 on each side. You only go to as far as you can feel a little bit of a stimulus. For those that are starting out, you won't have to go that far at all. All right, after you've done the mini squat and the fire hydrant, you're back up top with the bands around your ankles or above your knees, whichever you choose. He's going to choose around the ankles, and we're going to go ahead and do some lateral walks. Again, it's a mini squat, and he's making sure that he's pulling the bands apart, and he's just moving side to side. He does a good job here at letting his trail leg, the one that's not leading, not collapse in. He's making sure that it stays out. After he's done that, he's going to go ahead and put the bands around his feet, and you're going to go ahead and do Alternating marches, so it's a running motion, opposite arm with opposite leg, making sure that the leg comes to form a 90-degree angle. This is activating your hip flexor.